Hello! Welcome to Wheel Talk. I'm Rakappa Sadai. Today we're going to talk about The Eye of the World, Chapter 14, The Stag and Lion. Let's address the low par in the room. You may be wondering, Rakappa, what happened to your Moiraine look? You've been weaving that mirror of mist for months. Don't worry about it, it's not going anywhere. Now that we've launched Patreon, I'm gradually going to add looks to Wheel Talk. I'll do most of the episodes in my natural Rakappa look, and when I'm speaking as a character that I have in my inventory, I'll switch to that character. Every time we hit a Patreon goal, I will add a new Mirror of Mists to Wheel Talk. And thanks to the support of our new patrons, starting today we are adding Rand. And Perrin. Matt's next on the list. I'm excited. Enough nonsense. We have a chapter to recap. So, spoiler-free recap. Moiraine and friends have just walked into the Stag and Lion. Lan leaves them and goes into the common room to find out what news he can. Moiraine asks Master Fitch, I hear the White Cloaks are in town. Is there likely to be trouble? Master Fitch is like, don't you worry about White Cloaks, Mistress Alice. They're claiming we have an Aes Sedai in town, but no one believes what White Cloaks say. Everyone knows they suck. Glad to hear it. An attendant named Ara leads Rand, Matt, Perrin, and Tom to a chamber full of copper bathtubs. Ara barely says anything except to tell Rand that he has a funny accent. Everyone picks a tub and gets in. While they're taking their baths, Ara notices everyone's weapons and he's like, oh, are you having trouble down country like they're having in Galdon? Oh wait, I forgot. You have nothing but sheep down country, never mind. Anyway, I hear they have Trollocs in Saldea. And Matt's like, oh, you just let me tell you about Trollocs. Tom says, why don't you not? Perrin and Rand are like, yeah, let's maybe seriously, not talk dude, about Trollocs and say we did. Lan walks in and Ara tries to assist him and Lan's like, I can pour my own water, get the hell out of here, you're annoying. Ara leaves and Lan says to Matt, don't talk about Trollocs. Don't even think about Trollocs. Perrin's like, you know, he said there were Trollocs in Saldea, I think. Lan throws an empty bucket. It crashes loudly on the ground and he's like, or you know what? Do talk about it and just ignore what I say. I'm trying to save your lives, but I guess I'll just go f myself. The rest of their bath time is done in silence. When they leave the bath chamber, they see Moiraine talking to some girl. Rand thinks it's a girl, but she has short hair and wears men's clothes. He's not used to that. Moiraine says something that makes the girl look at the boys, and then the girl hurries away, and Moiraine is like, hey, who's hungry? Let's go eat. Nothing sketchy just happened. They go to a private dining room. Rand sees Egwene, and he goes to apologize, but then Egwene turns her back on him, and Rand's like, okay, fine, be that way. Master Fitch comes in. He's like, I am so sorry, the food is not what it usually is. The winter has been brutal. He rambles about how times are so hard, and then finally, he leaves them alone to eat. Lan shares the news he's gathered. There was a battle in Galdon. Loghain won. Not great. On the bright side, no one's seen any shadow spawn, and the White Cloaks are way too busy pissing off the governor to pay us any mind. Moiraine says, good. Now, we've had a long journey and we have a long way to go, so I propose we stay here for tonight and tomorrow. What do you think, Master Andra? Lan says, yeah, sure, as long as they remember what I've taught them for a change. The Emmons Fielders are all excited to explore Baerlon, and Tom's like, these country folks loosen a city. Baerlon, please. More like Borlon, am I right? Thank you. I'll be here for the next 2 days. There are only 3 vacant rooms in the inn, so Rand rooms with Lan and Tom. As soon as they get to the room, Tom takes out his flute and harp, and he leaves to go perform. Lan goes with him. Rand is like, normally I would go, but I've been hearing that dude's stories for a week, and I am so tired. Gleeman... Rand is standing in a stone hallway. He's trying to remember where he just was. He's really thirsty. I'm so thirsty. He hears a dripping sound and he goes towards it. There are doors on either side of the hallway, and eventually he decides to try one. He walks through into this stone-walled chamber. One wall opens to a balcony. He can see the sky, and it looks absolutely insane. There are black, gray, red, and orange clouds racing by. The rest of the room is also super freaky. It looks like it was melted out of the stone. And there's a man in front of the fireplace. The man turns around and he's like, oh, hey girl! No, I'm kidding. He doesn't say that. He says, once more we meet face to face. Just for an instant, his mouth and eyes became openings into endless caverns of flame. Rand's like, what the actual He runs across the hall, goes through another door, and finds himself in the same room.
You cannot get away from me that easily.
Rand goes back out the door, and this time the hallway isn't even there. He just goes through the door into the same room. Rand is like, this is just a dream. The wisdom says if you think about waking up while you're dreaming, you'll wake up. Wait, what's a wisdom? Wait, what's wrong with my brain?
Is it a dream? Does it matter?
Once again, for a moment, his mouth and eyes became peepholes into a furnace that seemed to stretch forever.
You seem thirsty. Drink.
This ornate goblet appears on the table. Rand's so thirsty. I am really thirsty. He takes the goblet and he smells spiced wine. The man leaned forward intently, one hand on the back of a chair. Whispers of smoke were rising from the chair back between the man's fingers. Not exactly subtle. And Rand says, you know what? I'm not as thirsty as I thought. What do you want? Who are you? Flames rose in the man's eyes and mouth.
Some call me Baalzaman.
And Rand is like, it's the Dark One. Oh my god, I'm hanging out with the Dark One. He tries to leave, but the door is locked, and Baalzaman says,
Are you the one? You cannot hide it from me forever.
Baalzaman talks a lot, and he is a drama queen.
Are you expecting glory? Power? Did they tell you the eye of the world would serve you? What glory or power is there for a puppet? The strings that move you have been centuries weaving. Your father was chosen by the White Tower, like a stallion roped and led to his business. Your mother was no more than a broodmare to their plans, and those plans lead to your death.
Hey, don't you talk about my mom and dad like that. And Baalzaman goes full drama queen on him.
The Amerlin seat will use you until you are consumed, just as Davian was used, and Urian Stonebow, and Guer Amalasan, and Raylan Darkspane, just as Loghain is being used until there is nothing left of you.
Whatever, you're bound in Shale Ghul, bound until the end of time.
Do I look bound to you, bitch? I've never been bound.
He goes into this villainous monologue about how evil he is. He destroyed everything Lews Therin ever loved. He sent Trollocs to savage the world. He manipulated Arthur Hawkwing and killed a bunch of people. The list goes on.
When men such as these could not stand against me, what chance do you have? A toad crouching beside a forest puddle. You will serve me, or you will dance on Aes Sedai strings until you die, and then you will be mine. The dead belong to me. I'm very evil.
No, this is a dream. Baalzaman's like,
so what? Look what I can do.
This large rat appears. Baalzaman crooked his finger, and with a squeak, the rat arched its back. The finger curved more, and the rat toppled over, its back bending. With a sharp snap like the breaking of a twig, the rat trembled violently and was still. Well, so what? This is still a dream, and I'm gonna wake up.
Will you indeed?
The finger crooked, and Rand screamed as he arched backwards.
Will you ever wake again?
Rand wakes up! Ah! That was not a good dream. Rand remembers that Moiraine said, I can help with bad dreams sometimes. And he goes back to sleep, wondering if he can really trust an Aes Sedai. That's the end of the chapter. Woohoo! I'd like to take a moment to thank our new Patreon members. Yes. Thank you. Our new Wilders. Apothecary. Noah. Derwin Sedai. Jessica. Iris Bear. Jeremy. My hair is all in my face. We love Wilders on Wheel Talk. If anyone ever gives you attitude about being a Wilder, you slap them in the face and say that's from Rakappa. Novices and Soldiers. Lauren from Unraveling the Pattern. Jen. Khalil. Chris, Ron, Selusha, Donardius, and David. Welcome to the Littlest Tower. If Winona tries to be your friend, just ignore her. She's desperate for attention. Accepted and dedicated. Desmond, Lindsay, Kit, April, Mandy. Yes! I hope to see you all at the brunch of time. I love brunch. Have I said that yet? I love brunch. And our new Aes Sedai and Ashaman. Patrick, Sherry, Christine, Dawn, Jason, Jennifer, Justin, Delusions of Grendel, hey Grendel, Steven, Nameless, Jonathan, Anthony, Celtic Mist, Knuckles Mustache, Katie, Kelly, and Elizabeth. I am so happy to have you at the Littlest Tower. Thank you. The other day, Nablus pushed Tivana down the stairs. It was so funny. The next part of this video is the 13th Depository. I'm going to dive deep on the chapter, and there might be spoilers. So if you haven't finished the books, I recommend not watching this part. I don't want to spoil the books for you. We don't do that here. And if you haven't finished the series, it will probably sound crazy. I pronounce this meeting sealed to the flame. Okay, let's talk about Ishamael and Rand's dreams. This chapter gives us another Baalzamon dream. We get a lot of these in the Eye of the World. Sometimes when Ishamael just turns up as Baalzamon, it is a little debatable as to what's actually happening and how did he get there. This one is simpler than a lot of them. Ishamael is in the world of dreams, he has drawn Rand into a dream, and he is manipulating everything from Teleron Riyadh. How is it there are actually a bunch of dead rats in the inn the next day? I don't know. It's a pretty good trick. Maybe Ishi travels to the Stag and Lion that night and just drops a bunch of dead rats on the ground to mess with them. I wouldn't put it past him. He is super evil. At the end of the Eye of the World, we get this crazy sequence where Rand is drawn into a room where Ishamael is torturing Cariel Thor. Most fans explain that by saying Ishamael was probably using a dream shard. Ishamael's appearance at the end of the Great Hunt, it's hard to explain what's going on there. I am segueing into the end of the Great Hunt because 2 weeks ago, I was on the Dusty Wheel. We discussed how the show might adapt the end of book 2 for television. We had a really fun conversation, and at one point, our innkeeper proposed either changing or cutting Matt blowing the Horn of Valir, which I had never thought about before, but I thought it was really interesting. And there was a riot, drama for days. Twitter of Time was posting hashtag let Barney blow. I lived for it. I take nothing back. I will include a link in the notes to that Dusty Wheel episode if you want to see what went down. But we all got so excited about the Matt Horn of Valir drama, I never got around to bringing up my feelings about Rand's fight in the sky over Falma. I meant everything I said on the Dusty Wheel, but I talked about my thoughts on Matt and the Horn because the question was asked. That's not a change I'm actually lobbying for, and it's not a change I really expect to see. I will be very surprised if they don't let Barney blow. Anyone who was freaked out by all of that drama, I really don't think you have to worry. The battle in the sky, however, is something that I think they should and probably will change for the show. There's really no explanation for how Rand is fighting Baalzamon in the sky or why it's projected like an IMAX movie in the clouds. He's riding into battle after the horn is blown, and then the fog thickens, and then all of a sudden he can see the whole battle, and everything is above him, and everything is also below him, and nothing makes sense, and then Baalzamon appears being evil, and they fight. I have tried to make sense of what is actually happening during Rand's fight in the sky over Falma, and the best I can come up with is that the pattern was like, oh my gosh, this fight is crazy, people need to see this. I'm gonna live stream it in the clouds. It's fair to ask, well, how is he in the sky and how is everyone seeing it like this? And the books don't answer that question. Just like the end of the Eye of the World, the books don't tell us how Rand gets from point A to point B. 1 second he's here and the next second he's somewhere else, but also maybe not. And it's like, what? On a show where we're being guided through everything visually, I don't think they can get away with that kind of vagueness and confusion. We need to know where our characters are and how they got there. Game of Thrones did this a lot in its last few seasons. We would have a character in this place and then all of a sudden they're in this place, and it was confusing how they got there, and that really took me out of the story during some very crucial moments. I found it distracting. And I hope we can avoid that in the Wheel of Time. I don't want to be wondering, why is Rand in the sky? How did he get there? I would rather them just fight on the ground. I don't see why not. That's it for this week. Thank you for watching. Any thoughts you have, please leave them in the comments, or you can always email me at letsgetwheel@gmail.com. If you could like the video and subscribe, it really helps Wheel Talk. If you'd like to support Wheel Talk on Patreon, help us get some new wigs, I adore you. There's a link in the notes. The Twatcast Charity Podcast-a-thon is this Friday and Saturday, July 24th and 25th. It's 24 hours of Wheel of Time content, and Wheel Talk will have its first live show at 12:15 Eastern Time on Saturday, the 25th. This is a fundraiser for the Cybersmile Foundation, which is an anti-cyberbullying nonprofit. I will link to that cause in the notes and also to Twatcast's YouTube channel in case you want to tune in on Saturday. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And until next week, walk in the light and keep it real. I think I might need to cut this a little bit. What do you think?